Hi folks, and welcome back to the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print, and we are on the last of the Ewoks comics today. By David Manak from 1987, we've now jumped into the next year, and we're going to be talking about issues 11 through 14. And again, this will be the last time I say this, the final issues, of course, can be found in our Droids and Ewoks omnibus from Dark Horse Comics. Again, probably the best way you can get it. Maybe Marvel's put out an epic collection at this point that includes this, but I'm not sure. Anyways, issue 11 is called The Incredible Shrinking Princess. And in this issue, Princess Kanisha is shrinking, and it's Teebo and Wicket's job to rescue her and to prevent her from shrinking too much that she becomes an atom. That's about it. Again, these stories are not meant to be these long epic tales, but I think we've all established that at this point. Issue number 12, The Thorn Monster. Morag trashes the village and then releases a thorn monster that the Ewoks must stop. In issue number 13, called The Black Cavern, Wicket must find the Sun Crystal. And finally, in issue 14, called King for a Day, Teebo saves the village after being put in charge of the Ewok village, temporarily, of course, but still saves the village and is king for a day. That's about it, folks. Now, what do I think about the Ewoks series and the Droids and Ewoks, I guess, in general? I already kind of talked about Droids, but honestly, like I've said, these are just, they're fun, silly stories meant for kids. Again, I would hope that most people already know this, but there really isn't much to say about them just because they are very, they're straightforward. They're just kind of straightforward tales. And again, trying not to give away too much here, but the point is that we are getting into a point of Star Wars publishing where you're not going to get these epic tales, and you're not going to get them until, well, Heir to the Empire first comes out. This is, like the Marvel Star Wars series that we finished not too long ago. This abruptly ended when this first came out. This series was kind of canceled out of the blue. It really didn't get an ending. It didn't kind of have a closure to this. It just kind of just ended. And issue 14 was it, and they were moving on to other things. We're really getting to the dark times of Star Wars. We only have one more thing to talk about, and then we pretty much have entered in the dark times. We've already established that Weston Games were really the only company keeping Star Wars alive, really. I mean, you had ways to watch the original trilogy, and you had books, you had the comics and whatnot, but it wasn't until the 90s that, that we kind of came out of the dark times. So, someone can make the argument that we are in it now. Some can make the argument after our next thing that we're going to talk about, we're in the dark times. But the fact of the matter is that we are pretty much nearing the end of the 80s, the initial Star Wars publishing run. So it's definitely a different time that we're talking about in comparison to now. But anyways, to wrap all this up, are the Ewoks and Droids as a whole. I already talked about Droids, but is this omnibus essential? No. Are the Ewoks comics essential? No, they are not. Again, same as Droids. If you grew up on it, I think you're going to really enjoy it. The omnibus is a really cool way to get it. This has everything. This has all of the Star Comics, and also a little golden book Ewok adventure comic book at the end here, which we'll probably talk about much later. But it's a coloring book that you would get this story in, and it's basically kind of a little thing of Return of the Jedi when they get caught in the net there. But again, this is a great omnibus here. Unfortunately, it's not in print anymore. Maybe Marvel has put out another epic collection of it, but you can get it, of course, secondhand. Like, for example, this used to be part of the Salt Lake City Library, and now it is a part of my collection. So, interesting read, interesting piece. It's an interesting period piece of the 80s and of those cartoon shows. But again, if you're not too interested in those things, if you didn't grow up with it, or you just don't have any interest and you want, again, kind of overall expanded universe, this is not the omnibus you're looking for, or the comics for that matter that you're looking for. But again, if you want to check it out, they're fun stories, and they definitely are a good period piece of the 80s. But folks, that is all the time I have for today. I will see you next time with another episode of the Star Wars Library.